They called her a queen. History called her a monster. But before the dogs licked her blood from the streets of Jezreel, she was the most powerful woman in the world. She didn't just rule a kingdom, she hunted the prophets of God like animals. She turned a nation's heart to stone and made even the great Elijah tremble in fear. But what drove a woman to declare war on heaven itself? Today, we go behind the palace walls to see the rise and the terrifying fall of Jezebel.
Far to the south, beyond the rugged mountains and the dusty plains, in the divided kingdom of Israel, there sat a king whose heart was divided too. His name was Ahab, son of Omri. Israel had broken apart from Judah, and though the land prospered with gold and trade, spiritually it decayed into shadows. The people no longer looked to the temple in Jerusalem. Instead, altars appeared on the high hills. Compromises filled the air like thick smoke. Ahab wanted alliances. Sidon wanted influence. And so a marriage of cold politics was arranged. When Jezebel arrived in Israel, she did not come as a simple guest. She came as a queen who demanded worship. Silk banners of deep purple waved in the wind. Trumpets of silver sounded across the valley. The foreign princess stepped onto Israel's soil, not as a quiet bride, but as a storm wrapped in royal garments. And almost immediately, she began to strip the nation of its soul. She convinced Ahab to build a grand, towering temple to Baal in the capital city of Samaria. Golden poles dedicated to Asherah rose along every road. Prophets of Baal filled the royal courts, hundreds of them, chanting in foreign tongues. The worship of the Lord, the God who brought Israel out of the fires of Egypt, began to disappear. And Jezebel just smiled. This was not merely religion. This was conquest.
But when the darkness grows thickest, God sends a light that burns. A sudden figure appeared one day before the king's throne. No royal robes, no polished words, just rough garments of hair and eyes that burned like fire. His name was Elijah. He stood before Ahab and spoke words that pierced the marble court like a thunderclap. As surely as the Lord lives, the God of Israel whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in these next years, except at my word. Gasps filled the room. Rain was life. No rain meant a slow, agonizing death. Elijah disappeared as quickly as he had come, and then the skies closed like iron. At first, Jezebel scoffed. But weeks passed, then months, then a full year. The earth cracked, the crops turned to dust, the mighty rivers shrank into tiny streams of mud. The famine was real, and yet the prophets still lived. Jezebel's response was not repentance, it was a cold, murderous rage. She began hunting down every prophet of the Lord like prey in the field. Many were slaughtered, but the desert held its secrets, and the man of God remained hidden.
3.5 years of dust and death had passed. Then Elijah appeared again. A challenge was declared, a public contest on the heights of Mount Carmel. The people gathered in a silence born of fear.
On one side, 450 prophets of Baal, confident in their ritual robes. On the other side, one man, one weathered prophet of the Lord. Elijah's voice rang across the mountain. How long will you waver between two opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him, but if Baal is God, follow him. Silence, not a word from the crowd. The prophets of Baal went first. They cried out from morning until noon. They danced, they shouted, they slashed themselves until blood flowed. The sun climbed to its peak. Nothing happened. Elijah mocked them gently. Perhaps your God is busy, or traveling, or sleeping. By evening, desperation was thick in the air. Still, no fire. Then Elijah stepped forward. He rebuilt the broken altar. He drenched the sacrifice with water, again and again, until the trenches were overflowing. Then he prayed, a simple, quiet prayer. Fire fell. A roaring column of divine flame descended from the heavens. It consumed the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, and even licked up the water in the trench. The crowd fell on their faces screaming, "The Lord, He is God!" The prophets of Baal were finished. The rain returned in a great deluge, but Jezebel's heart only grew harder. Power can be a slow poison. Years later, another story unfolded, a darker story. In Jezreel, a man named Naboth owned a vineyard. Ahab wanted it, but Naboth refused to sell his family's inheritance. Jezebel entered the room. She laughed softly, a sound like cold glass. "Is this how you act as king? I will get you the vineyard." Her solution was deadly. She had Naboth falsely accused and stoned to death. An innocent man's blood soaked his own land. And when it was done, Jezebel said calmly, "Get up and take possession." But the Lord had seen. Elijah met Ahab with a prophecy that chilled the bone. In the place where dogs licked up the blood of Naboth, dogs shall lick up your blood. And Jezebel, the dogs shall eat her by the wall of Jezreel. The end came with the thunder of hoofs. A new commander named Jehu drove his chariot furiously toward the palace. Jezebel did not run. She painted her eyes, she arranged her hair, she stood at the window like a queen until the very end. Jehu looked up. "Who is on my side?" Two eunuchs looked down. "Throw her down," they cried. And they did. She fell. Her blood splattered the walls, and the horses trampled her underfoot. By the time they went to bury her, only her skull, her feet, and her hands remained. The dogs had taken the rest, just as the word of the Lord had spoken. No throne is higher than God's. No queen is above justice. The fire fell, the rain returned, and in the end, the truth remained.